Hello, and welcome to the Racing Gambit on the Sports 2.0 network. It is a massive, massive weekend of action. So big, we actually have 3 shows today for you. This obviously is the first show, which we will preview both the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks. Second show, we will look at the undercard for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday. And then finally, the third show, we will give our 3 contenders and our 3 pretenders for the Kentucky Derby itself. But as always, I am not doing it alone. My partner in crime, and has been for the best part of a year now, Ace, how are you doing today? And how excited are you about the racing this weekend?
The Kentucky Derby is my Super Bowl. It is better than Christmas. I'm doing phenomenal. I'll be there on Saturday, rain or shine in the infield, praying for some... The only thing I want it to rain is money, and that's what we're here to give you today. We're going to be making some rain.
Well, we can hope so. We can hope it's going to be brand new with money for both of us this weekend. And without any further ado, we'll get stuck in to the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, a grade 1 over 1 1/4 miles with a huge $3 million prize fund. I can't remember a more stacked Derby than this, because I feel like you could make cases for a lot of horses in this field. And at this moment in time, with the odds that we have here, Epicenter is the current favourite. I don't know about you, Ace, but I wouldn't go against Epicenter being the favourite for this, because I think we're both in agreement when it comes to Zandon that he probably hasn't got much of a chance.
And that's the most interesting thing, because Mike Battaglia, Morning Line, Kentucky Derby odds maker, made Zandon the favorite here. But if you look on every book available, Epicenter is still the betting favorite, and I think Epicenter will be the betting favorite when it comes to Derby time. I've done all my research. Hours and hours and hours. Not that many hours. Watched all the prep races. Rewatched all those prep races. I only think there's 3 horses that can win this race. Yes, there's some really nice horses with some really nice angles. But if you're not betting on Epicenter, the 3 horse, if you are not including Messier, who it was a complete standout and would have been the favorite if he won the Santa Anita Derby, the 6 horse. And if you're now looking at number 12, Teva, who won the Santa Anita Derby, I don't know what you're looking at. Those 3 horses are by far the best horses in this field. Yes, one of them didn't win their last prep. You know who also didn't win their last prep before winning the Kentucky Derby? Supposedly, last year's Medina Spirit. Didn't win that last one. So those are the top 3 choices for me. And then you get into a really interesting world of where you want to spread, who do you like underneath, etc. But do you want to make strong cases for anyone else in this race?
I do think Epicenter is the one. Like I think he deserves to be favourite.
And I completely agree. The interesting thing about him is he doesn't have the best times compared to Messier and Teva. But you watch those races, especially the last 2, he wasn't asked to run in the final 2 furlongs. He swooped to the lead, or was on the lead, 2 back, and he just kind of jogged out. You're talking about a horse that hasn't been challenged in a few races, and went a mile and 3/16 and 154 and won. Pretty decent. Pretty decent for someone who, really realistically doesn't have to do much of anything but run his race, and he's very well capable of winning this thing. The only problem is the post, right? The post is a little worrisome. The 3-hole, you kind of got to get out. You kind of got to get over to the rail. I don't think there's much speed from the 1 and the 2, but you also just don't want to be like smushed in on the rail there. Joel Rosario, as long as he keeps his foot in the irons, because last year he didn't. Oh my gosh, almost caused a wreck right out of the gate. That's the only thing that I see stopping this horse from coming in the top 3.
Yeah, with Epicenter in 3, so it's got a 5.4% win percentage, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think if you're getting down that route, then you're looking at stalls 5, 10, and 15, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we'll talk about Smart Happy later on, but I do quite like White Arbario as well.
And that's understandable, right? White Arbario, he won the Florida Derby. He's won his last 2. He won the Holy Bull. He really seems to like Gulfstream Park, but he's won both of those races by open lengths. Tyler Gaffleone has won the Churchill Downs meet from a jockey perspective the last 6 years in a row, and he's on board this horse. It'd be a great story, and I'm not saying he's a pretender. I'm not saying he's a contender. I'm saying he's right in the middle there for me.
Yeah. With White Barbio, I think the Florida Derby is a very, very good prep race. Obviously, it's produced 20 Triple Crown winners, or winners of Triple Crown races. And that was over 1 and 1/8 miles. I don't have much doubt that he's going to get the distance. And obviously, he's already beat Charge in here. And I like the fact he ran at Churchill Downs last year, which I think is a decent kind of angle to go with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you talk about the speed figures, so one of the big trends is 27 of the previous 30 winners have had by a speed figure of 95 plus, which does drastically cut down this field. Because you've got the only ones that have got over that are Epicenter Zandar, White Barrio, Mo Donegal, Taiba, Simplification, Messier, and Zozos.
Yeah. And
so if you get off that trend alone,
yeah, if you're going off that trend alone, you're 100% right. And so realistically, here's the underneaths for me, right? So I've talked about Epicenter, Messier, and Taiba. Mo Donegal is going to be coming from way too far back on the rail with listen, I love Irad Ortiz. I love him. Todd Pletcher trained. I don't think they get a good trip from the rail, but we mentioned him like with a chance. The other horses that you mentioned that like Zandon, the post-time favorite, but will not be the post-time favorite. He's going to have to close from the clouds, and he's already lost to Epicenter and Mo Donegal and finished behind Smile Happy. I don't see where all of a sudden he's going to be getting a 1.25 miles closing at Churchill Downs, right? And so, yeah, this to me, like, it makes complete sense that there's 3 really good horses that I think can finish on top. I'm going to exact a box that whole thing up, and then can we go with some? Now, mind you, we're not just talking about some prices here. Messier's 8-1 morning line. Taiba's 12-1 morning line. That makes no sense. You're not getting 8-1 and 12-1. I think you're going to be getting like 6 and 7-1 on both of them. Would you agree? Like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think you might see Taiba come in a little bit purely because people I think people will hold on to it, and the story will be there. But at bigger prices, are there any ones that you can kind of talk about? So I've been looking at this Crown Pride, and we've seen a couple of Japanese horses take big prizes. So could the impossible happen and a Japanese trained horse win the Derby?
Here's the interesting thing about this Japanese horse, right? Who, listen, if they were undefeated coming in, I'd be like, okay, they have more of a chance, right? They lost a race in Japan, in Tokyo. They took 6th there. Yeah, they looked okay in the Dubai Cup, but they went 1 mile and 3/16 in 1 minute and 59 and 3. Secretariat ran a faster Kentucky Derby than that. And you got to inch out another 1/16 of a mile there. I don't think this horse is fast enough. And what's super interesting, this horse has been here for quite a while. The second they won that race in March, they're like, we're going to the Derby. Like, I think I'd like the shipper more if they were just getting here. If they were just fresh off the boat and ready to run. I'm going to take a hard pass. I don't even like them underneath whatsoever. But then again, we've been surprised before by these Japanese horses. So I'm not calling it not going to happen. It's probable, but I'm going to pass on it.
I do think even like Marshall Rain, like that was probably more likely than this.
Yes, 1,000,000%.
But is there any other ones that you quite like underneath? I keep going back to Pio Medina because I like the run in the Louisiana Derby.
I'm not on Pioneer Medina. I do like somebody out of that race, especially if it's gonna rain, which don't want it to actually rain. I kind of like Zozos underneath. I don't like Manny Franco, but he's taken a second before with Tis the Law in the Kentucky Derby. Like, he's only got 3 races under his belt, and he took second to Epicenter. He was on the lead in the Louisiana Derby. I don't know if he can handle the distance, but a pretty good speed figure, 98 coming out of that race, losing by 2.5 to Epicenter. If Epicenter doesn't get the best trip, and Churchill Downs is a carousel like it usually is on Derby Day, you go to the front, you can probably hang around there, right? I think they have a chance. And then this is the hot horse. This is the horse that everyone's talking about that has just unlimited potential. But are they going to show it? Let's Charge It, the 8, Luis Saez, Todd Pletcher. It took second in the Florida Derby behind White Barrio, who we've talked about. This horse couldn't stay straight in the lane. In only his 3rd race, he was bobbing and weaving all over the place. I don't think he would have beat White Barrio that day, but he could have made it a lot closer if he could have just run in a straight line. If Luis Saez can get him to run in a straight line, he has the running style where he can hang on the lead and win or just come from right off of it. Those are my underneath plays, both at 20-1 morning line, who I'm going to be taking underneath, and I would not be surprised one bit if they did win that race.
Yeah, so that just about rounds up the Derby. We obviously aren't going to give our picks right now because you're going to have to tune into the 3rd episode for that one.
Right.
But we will roll on now to the Kentucky Oaks, which is the Grade 1 over 1.8 miles for the fillies. And I mean, this looks like one of the hottest renewals of this race in a long time, I think. I would have loved Secret Oath to have a better draw because I feel like she's proper pending at 1. But regardless, you've got Echo Zulu, Nest, Kathleen O, and it is hot, isn't it, this race? It is a good renewal.
It really is, and I'm so excited for this race, first and foremost, as you mentioned. Secret Oath was our girl. She was our Derby hopeful. Man, I really wish she was taking on the boys. But looking at this race, it's really great to see that there's not going to be a huge favorite. There's 4 horses that are pretty equal from a racing standpoint, and then there's some prices where I don't think that this is a 4-horse race. I actually think it's a 5-horse race. But let's talk about who was instilled as the morning line favorite. This is Nest with Irad Ortiz, Todd Pletcher. What I really like about this horse is that they've won on an off track because it looks like it's going to be pouring rain for the Oaks Day. I think Nest was the deserving favorite. I think the most conversation is going to be around Echo Zulu, who has only raced once this year and won the Fairgrounds Oaks. I don't think she looked good doing it. And so I understand that she's not the favorite, but there's going to be a lot of money coming in on that horse because they won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. Do you want to cover the other 2 big ones?
No, I'm actually all over Echo Zulu. I think she's going to come on from that prep because I think she just needed to run because from November to then, she just needed to run. But yeah, obviously you've got Kathleen O, who also 4 from 4, won the Gulfstream Park Oaks last time out. And the only thing that I kind of picked up here was, do you think Churchill Downs is going to play to her strengths as much as it could with Nest and Echo Zulu? I think Nest and Echo Zulu could go this distance, but Kathleen O, I'm not sure as much as them two I am.
Well, so you bring up Kathleen O is going to need a lot of pace in front of her. She's a closer. She's going to be coming from the back of the pack. Churchill Downs usually does not play the closers, right? The interesting thing about this race is, and I don't know if there's going to be an absolute speed duel, but if I'm some of these horses that are bigger odds, I don't think they have a choice but to try and go for the lead. So if there's actually if Venti Valentine just jumps up and starts running for the front, right? And, Echo Zulu goes with her. Ujiri goes to the lead. There's a lot of horses that like to be up front. I think this horse sets up for someone to come from just off the pace. But yeah, I don't know if Kathleen O is going to get the run that she expects. But maybe Javier Castellano can keep her a little closer than previous races, you know? If she's 2.5 back at the top of the stretch instead of 4 or 5 back, she's going to have a chance to run at it. So you're all over Echo Zulu, huh?
I am. It was that run in the Breeders' Cup that really kind of got me with Echo Zulu, because I kind of had doubts before that. In fact, I'm pretty sure on the Breeders' Cup show, I actually went against her because I just didn't think that she was going to win that. But she is a 3-time Grade 1 winner last year. And obviously she wasn't as good when she returned the Fairground Oaks, but she was returning after 4 or 5 months out.
Yep.
So I think she's still winning when she's not at her best. And I think Connections have got it absolutely spot on with her. I think they've kind of thought, we'll give her one run and then we'll go straight to the Oaks. And if we win the Oaks, God knows what the plan is then. But I'm excited to see what she brings.
And that brings us to talking about the next race out, right? The trainers have talked. If Secret Oath wins this thing, she might go to the Preakness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that. I'm all for it. Do I think she's going to win? Not entirely sure, but if we're gonna go for a little bit of a long shot, and this is me fading Echo Zulu, I'm sorry, but Hidden Connection really put it to her in the Fairground Oaks. She only lost by a nose, just a nose. That's it. Maybe this horse is on the up and up. They're 1-for-1 at Churchill. They won the Pocahontas here a mile and 16th. They won over this track. That's really big coming in. But I'm going to be honest. I think the fillies go through Nest. I think Nest can run the perfect trip with Irad and Todd. I think they're going to win, and I think they're going to win really easily.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
I mean, Secret Oath is the interesting one,
Mm-hmm.
because if she can get away quick enough from stall 1, I think she has a right chance. Because I think she's one of the most talented in this race. But I think they've already tried to test the waters of the Kentucky Derby, so this is kind of more of a backup, isn't it now?
Correct, and I think what's hard to figure is. What's nice is she started at Churchill, right? So she knows the track. She broke her maiden here. And honestly, I don't even think, and call me crazy, the fact that the Arkansas Derby is a part of her form and it says that she finished third in the last race, you just toss it out. She went against the boys. Not only did she go against the boys, she had a terrible trip doing so. So what does that say, right? Morning Light Odds is 6-1. When I saw 6-1, I said, oh, whoa, wait a minute here. That is absolute value. Absolute value. 5-1, 6-1 if you get it. Because to your point, they've gotten great form coming in. So I'm going to stick with Nest. Secret Oath is my girl. I'm not going to be sad at all if she wins. But you're going to go with Echo Zulu. I get it. And I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm going to be sticking with Echo Zulu. So that just about rounds up our first episode. We'll be back online very, very shortly to preview the undercard to the Kentucky Derby on the Saturday, where we've got 3 Grade 1s to look at. We'll see you in a minute.